Hey YouTube land, Tychonders there doing another action figure review, and today we're having a look at the DC Multiverse Gold Label Lucius, Fox and Tumbler figure or set from Mcfarlane. Now I'm doing something a little bit different because the box is so big I can't put it up in the review station, so I have it down on the ground here. So we'll have a quick look at the box, then I'll move things over and do the review for the actual Tumbler and Lucius on the actual review station that I have set up, which I need to improve upon, but I will at some stage. But here is what you get for the box. So you have an image, it's an artist rendering of, I probably would imagine it's like ZBrush image of what the figure would look like and the Tumbler. And you have Lucius here looking like a used car salesman for some reason, or a dodgy used car salesman. You can see him, he's like almost tapping the side of, if it was the bonnet, it'd be like, this thing is the greatest machine in the world. It will do, you know, it won't do any bad, and you will get from A to B. So this is the top of the box. So it's more of an actual photography done image. Flipping around to the back of the box, you have an image again. It's the same image of Lucius standing beside it and some of the accessories you get, and then it says seats 2 figures. And then on the bottom of the box, if I flip it around, you will see that it has an image of how to open the actual canopy section. And then on the sides, you just got Lucius, Fox, Tumbler, Dark Knight Trilogy, and again on the opposite side of the box, and then you have the Mcfarlane logo. I do love the image on the front. It does, as I said, it does give an image of Lucius being some sort of dodgy second-hand car dealer, even though that's not what he's like at all in the movie. It just looks hilarious, but it is a great image. And as I said, it's replicated on the box. It is interesting that they went with artwork for the front, and then on the other images it's all actual, I would imagine, prototypes of the figure and set. So it is interesting to see that. So we'll wrap up here, we'll move over to the review station, or if I can get the thing on the review station. It is quite a big box. As you can see on the box image, it says it's 18 inches or 4.7 or 45.7 centimeters in length, so that is quite a long set. So I will point out that even though I don't have the other box to showcase it, it is slightly smaller than the 89 Batmobile box with Keaton Batman, even though if I get around to it and measure the two of them together, you will see that the vehicles are actually roughly around the same length, but it's just the way they package them differently. So we'll wrap up here and move over to the review station. And here we have the hunking beast of a machine that it is, with Lucius in front of it. So we'll have a quick look at the, we'll have a quick look through the accessories, or the rundown of the accessories that you get with this set. So for starters, you get a file card, which is again the same box art cover. It's interesting they didn't go with the actual figure photography on this one. And then it just gives a brief data file right up, which I haven't actually opened. Check it out. I think it's for Lucius, is this? So, with the help of Lieutenant Jim Gordon and District Attorney Harvey Dent, Batman sets out to destroy organized crime in Gotham City for good. The triumvirate proves to be effective, but they soon find themselves prey to a rising criminal mastermind known as the Joker, who trusts Gotham into anarchy and forces the Dark Knight ever closer to crossing the line between hero and vigilante Bane. So it is a little brief write-up of how the event of the Dark Knight rolls around. So it is interesting that this is more from the Batman Begins style and the Dark Knight movies, since it doesn't appear in the Dark Knight Rises, but it is quite a nice piece of kit. So for other accessories, you get this very nice case, which is the one that I believe he pulls out in the locker in Wayne Enterprises. I have his other accessories stored in there because it's so small I didn't want to lose it. He comes with this, I believe it's a mobile phone. I think it's the one that he uses, or he gives to Bruce to track down the, was it the Chinese guy when he basically hightails it back to Hong Kong. I think it's the phone that he uses, because Lucius himself has the same, or at least a similar looking device molded onto his hand, but we'll get into that in a minute. But he does come with this cool case. It is hollow, so it isn't a full case, but it has the utility belt, the grapple launcher, and a few other pockets and stuff like that, and it's sculpted so it looks like it's in kind of a foam packaging, which is quite nicely done. As I said, you can throw this thing in here, it doesn't get in the way too much, and it closes down not too bad. Then for the other accessories, it does come with something that nearly every DC Multiverse figure comes with, and I haven't actually taken them out of the packaging because I didn't actually realize he came with these until like way later. He does come with the standard base. Now what's interesting to note is it's actually a grey base as opposed to the black ones that we're more accustomed to. You can actually see that DC logo way better on this grey. It's an off, kind of like a slate grey is the best way to describe it. So it is interesting to note that he comes with that. And then he comes with 2 additional hands. He comes with an outstretched kind of hand, and then he comes with almost a pistol grip pointing finger hand. Because, well, as you know, in the movie, I don't believe he uses any weaponry in the movie. The only thing he has for his defense is his cell phone, which is, as you can see, molded into his hand. So before we get on to Lucius, I'm just going to pop him aside for a moment, and I'm going to try and rotate this monstrous vehicle around the place. So actually, before I do that, I'm going to bring in the tape measure. Now, unfortunately, you can't really see the front of this thing, but it is around the 17-inch mark, as they say on the box. It is quite a wide, actually height-wise off the ground, the highest point would be these kind of wing pieces, or yeah, the air vent wing things makes it around 6.5 inches in height, so it is quite tall. I'm going to move this around to the front if I can. The wheels on it are quite nicely done. Now the wheels on mine are a bit slightly muddied because I was messing around with it, trying to do some video footage of it flying around the place. So it is around 9 inches in width to the widest part. It kind of tapers off at the front here and at the back. So roughly I'd say the widest part is around between 9 and 10 inches. So it is quite a wide machine. Details for the outside are quite nice. So you have those big chunky wheels, you have some pistons on the front, you have this piece that comes down the front, you have where the spotlights are on it, you have the armored fronting, you have the cowl pieces, basically cowl armor plates that move around when it's driving. On the back you have that huge turbine, which you can just about see, and the double wheels. There is actually detailing inside behind that. I'm not sure if you can see that, but just in here underneath there is some detailing, and then underneath there is not much detailing. It's just more metal plate, and you can see it's been scuffed a little bit because I've been driving it around things. There is a kind of metal plate where it's, and kind of rivets where it's welded together or put together. It's not actually built like that, but in the movie it's supposed to kind of be look like that. And then for the detailing on the inside, if I open up the top, there is some detailing on the inside. You have a control panel for where the driver sits. There is kind of stuff going off down to the side. There is the throttle. There is a actual print sticker here. I'm not sure if you can see this because it's really awkward. There is a printed sticker for a display on it. There's actually a printed sticker display on the control sticks as well, so it is kind of hard to see them while trying to maneuver this thing around the place. There is what I'm assuming is supposed to be some sort of padding or something for where the driver and passenger sit, and it just folds open like that. So just get a figurine. Now I will get into the figure side of things in a minute, because there is a bit of disappointment if you do get this set. So Lucius will fit in there, no bother. You can close the lid down, no bother with him, and you can pop it up. He will fit obviously quite well in the passenger seat. So if you want him to be a passenger and have him in that, he will fit there, no bother. Now for the major downside of this thing, and it's only if you have a specific version. So if you, like me, bought this version of the Christian Bale Batman, which is, I believe, the Dark Knight version, but it's the one from the Dark Knight trilogy Build-A-Figure, the one with the Bane Build-A-Figure set. So it was Bane, Joker, Two-Face, and is there someone else? Bane, sorry, not Bane, Joker, Batman, Two-Face, and Scarecrow were the 4 figures in the wave, and you built Bane out of the parts. Unfortunately, and this will be something you will run into with a lot of the other Batman figures if you have them. Some of them don't have this issue because they don't have the cape, but anyone with this sort of large, long, solid cape, you're going to run into issues getting him to sit in, because where the control stick is, there's a big bar that sits there around where the legs would be. So if you put him in, the bar sits around here, so you can't push him past that unless you cut this. I know people out there have customized this figure to have a proper, I don't think this even pops out. You can see it's kind of glued in. You could probably rip this off, but it'd look really weird. The only version of this, I believe, that will fit into this thing reasonably well without the cape being an issue is the one from that, was it the 60th movie set, anniversary set, or the movie anniversary set that Mcfarlane put out, which is the one that comes with the Keaton Batman, Val Kilmer Batman, the George Clooney Batman. I think comes with the Patterson Batman as well. It's all the movie versions. So it's like you have Bale, Keaton, who else did I say? Bale, Keaton, Kilmer, Clooney, and and the Ben Affleck. So you have all those Batmans. So if you have that one, I believe all the figures in those came with soft good capes, so they should fit easily. Unfortunately, this one, if you try to fit him in, he squishes everything down. You can fit him in to an extent, but when you have this down, you can see this is actually slightly raising up and putting pressure on this, so I would be worried that it would break the hinge, or on the actual clip it would put too much pressure on the clip holding it on, and it will just start breaking after time. But you can fit them in. It's a struggle. I won't do it on screen because it is quite a struggle to fit them in, and I don't think you want to be watching me try and fit them in for like the next 20 minutes into this thing. So we're going to move this guy out of the way. We'll leave Lucius in the vehicle for the time being, and I'm going to have to readjust my camera because this thing is really, really big. Just don't mind the mess behind. Alright, we're going to move this thing slightly to the side because this thing is so big. We're going to try and bring in the 89 Batmobile. So you can see them either side by side, which is going to be quite hard to do. The wings on the Batmobile really make it hard to view. Oop, it is knocking everything over. If I move this out of the way, without knocking everything completely down. Move it back just enough that it will fit just barely. So bear with me a moment. Hopefully it will not knock too much more off this. So it is smaller than this, even though to the main body this thing is around the same size. The thing that makes this so much bigger is the wings. Oop. These wings on the back really make this longer. But if you went from body to body, this one is just a hair. The 89 one's just a hair longer than the Tumbler, which makes sense because the 89 Batmobile is quite a long machine. They have announced that they're doing the Batman Forever Batmobile, which I have on pre-order, so I'm looking forward to that. Even though Batman Forever was not one of my favorite Batman movies, neither the Joel Schumacher films are that great in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion agree that they were not the best of Batman films. But I do like the Batman Forever Batmobile way much more than the Batman and Robin one. I always thought the Clooney Batman and Robin Batmobile just looked ridiculous because of the complete open canopy on it. I mean, it made no sense to have a complete open top or open roof on the thing. I mean, had they put an enclosed roof, it probably wouldn't have been as bad. But I do like the look of this. So I do hope when I get around to doing when I get the Batman Forever Batmobile, I will get around to doing a review, and I might have a better setup by then and be able to do everything all together. But all in all, this is a fantastic set. Now, there is another version of this, which is an Amazon exclusive. It's a Tumbler, but it's the camo versions that Bane drives around in. It's modified up here, so it has that cannon that pops out and rotates around. I'm not sure if it comes out from this section, so that they were only able to only had to retool this. I always thought it came out from the back here, so it might be the whole body of this thing has been redone, but it has that really cool camo look to it. So hopefully I might pick up one of those. I wasn't too pushed. My main save for this was because it comes with Lucius and this, but then Mcfarlane in their infinite wisdom said, oh look, we're going to do Lucius on his own again. So if you have this set and you already have Lucius, you don't need to really buy the other version of Lucius. Folks, without all my rabbiting about the Tumbler, I had actually forgotten to do a quick rundown on Lucius himself, even though I did go through the extra hands that he came with and his little base, which is this, and his hands, which are somewhere, but I didn't actually go through the actual figure himself. So for a height measurement, because this is based on Morgan Freeman, you see he does stand around the 7-inch height. And for the likeness, it isn't that bad a likeness of the actor himself. It does look quite like Morgan Freeman as he did in the movie. You can see he's wearing a shirt with a jacket and bow tie and then kind of casual trousers. He has a belt and his, were they wingtips or loafers? Fairly, kind of business casual dress, I suppose, is the best way to describe how he's dressed. Now, I don't know if any of his parts are reused. Obviously, he will be reused parts to the other version of Lucius that has been released or going to be released. But we'll just bring in, the Joker, heist version Joker, which reuses a lot of that suit body sculpt. And as I can see, I don't think any of these are, not even the arms. Joker is a lot more bulky. You can see how thin, how slim the figure is compared to Joker. His pants are a lot more bulkier, but for the figure itself, he is quite a good looking figure for how they got the head sculpt. I know a lot of people weren't impressed with some of the head sculpts in the past with some of the previous figures, like the Robert Pattinson Batman. They were saying the unmasked version, the one with the eyeshadow, didn't look that much like Robert Pattinson. The Ben Affleck one, the unmasked version of Ben Affleck, didn't look quite right. They have been getting steadily better. Even the early stuff like the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman isn't the best likeness for her. But for articulation, arms can move out that much, can rotate all the way around, has bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and depending on which which hand you have in and which way the direction of the peg is, you can have up and down, or you can rotate that around to have in and out movement. He does have, in fact, it's on this one, it's on slightly, if I rotate the hand, you can have in and out or up and down depending on which way you have the hand set up. So there's a kind of a ball joint, or not a ball joint, it's a kind of peg system. He does have the upper diaphragm joint, which you kind of can use, but if you like rotate it off the shirt, just looks completely odd because of the way it's designed. You have the waist joint, which gives you good range of movement. You have the ratchets in the legs. You can do split that much. You can kick forward that much and kick back. You can get into a good seated position. The only thing I would stress is if you leave him in this seated position for too long, because this jeans or pants part is a slightly more rubber. It's similar to how the waist or the jacket on the outer jacket is done, has that kind of more rubbery feel. If you leave it in that position for too long, when you move the leg back, you'll find that it'll be kind of misshapen, so just be wary of that. Most people tend to leave these guys on the stands and stuff like that anyway. He does have double jointed knees. In fact, he probably has more range of movement than the actual Morgan Freeman does, given his age. I know it's a harsh reality, but every actor or every person does age accordingly, and I think Morgan Freeman is now, I'm not sure what, I think he's in his 70s now, so I would imagine this guy has a little bit more range of movement than the living Morgan Freeman. But it is a really good figure, and I really like the head sculpt. It looks really good. I'm not sure if the camera is picking it up, but you can see it in, depending on the light, you can even see those kind of freckles. Those kind of, would you call it trademark freckles? I'm not sure. It's probably the wrong terminology for it, but the kind of freckles that he has under his eyes. And just for other figures from the same movie line, there is the Nolanverse, the Nolanverse Batman, or Christian Bale Batman. We have the Heist Joker. We'll bring in regular Joker, because I have him to hand. And we'll bring in something slightly different. So there is regular Joker. I do have a Bane figure, but he's not here, I don't think. So I'll have to dig him out at some point. But I do have the Bane build. Well, I didn't get the Build-A-Figure version of Bane. I got most of the Build-A-Figure parts, but I ended up buying the one with the jacket. And then for something pretty different, but still McFarlane and a different series, here he is with Chief Hopper from the Stranger Things movie franchise, or not movie franchise, TV, Netflix series franchise. So if you want a kind of a more cop style thing, I really wish and I hope that McFarlane, since they were doing Nolanverse stuff, I kind of hope they do a Commissioner Gordon based on Gary Oldman. I would love to see that. That would be a cool thing. Even Commissioner Gordon based on the other iterations that we've gotten over the years. The one from The Batman was actually a really cool one. I can't remember the actor's name, but he was the guy that was in he was the guy that played Bernard in Westworld, and I thought he's a really good actor. I'm sure someone will correct me, hopefully in the comments, what the actor's name is, but at the moment I don't have the luxury of looking it up. But he was in the Hunger Games as well. He was in one of the Hunger Games movies, and he always plays really good characters. But there it is for the Lucius Fox Morgan Freeman figure. It is a really cool figure. Thankfully, if you don't want the Tumbler, there is going to be a single carded release. I think it might be also gold label or platinum. I think it has some sort of label thing attached to it, so it mightn't be a direct multi-store multi-retail availability. It might be store exclusive, so just have a look to the Mcfarlane. Actually, it might actually be a Mcfarlane store exclusive, but there is a single box version of Lucius coming, so if you don't want to go spend all that money on Tumbler and Lucius, there is a single carded version, and I think it's slightly different to this one. I think he has slightly different clothing options, or they repainted some of the clothing on him. I think he's not the exact same figure. So if you're a completist and want every single version of the figure, you probably won't want that one as well. But if you're just want Lucius on his own, that's a good option. So it is quite a nice set, and you do get some nice accessories with it. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.